Are you wanting to start a collection of great tasting bourbon? This video is about building the perfect collection for beginners looking to start building their bourbon collection. The most popular subjects in bourbon forums is what whiskey or what bourbon should the new drinker or collector buy first? So I'm here to give you some suggestions of what I started my collection with. I'm not including any of the allocated bourbons that may become available. However, if you come across some of these that are close to retail, buy. A couple of my favorites, the Colonel E.H. Taylor. This runs retail is about $45. So if you can get it for under $50, buy. The Eagle Rare. Oh man, this is great bourbon. Again, this should sell for about $37. If you can get it around the $40 mark, buy. The one thing you want to look at when you go to the liquor stores and looking for this stuff is you may find some liquor stores that have it. I know around the corner from where I live, they've got Eagle Rare. They want $130 a bottle for this, which is ridiculous. Most liquor stores are going to sell this with a little bit more of a markup over retail. There are a lot of them that will sell it just at retail. And if you go to some of the grocery stores, you can find it even cheaper than that. Now, one of the things about allocated bourbons, they will not be on the shelf in a lot of stores. You gotta ask. Hi y'all, Don here with Southern Backyard Cooking. We are whiskey sipping. I hope you're enjoying my video today. If you are, please make sure you subscribe. Ring that bell. And of course, don't forget, give me those big thumbs up. All right, the first bottle I'm going to talk about is Buffalo Trace. This sometimes is hard to find. Retail on this is about $25, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Most stores will have it. They may only get it in once a month, but it is still easy to find. This is a deep amber whiskey and has complex aromas of vanilla, mint, and molasses. The taste is sweet, has notes of brown sugar and spices. This whiskey finishes long and smooth with serious depth. It just tastes good. Number 2 on my list, Maker's Mark 46. This is the same as Maker's Mark itself, but then they add tin-seared French oak staves to the barrels and put it in their limestone cellar for a little bit more aging. The result is a very easy to sip bourbon with notes of caramel, vanilla, and baking spice. Tastes really good. The 46. The third one of my favorites, Four Roses Small Batch Bourbon. The retail price on this is about $38. It has a mellow spice, rich fruit, and hints of sweet oak and caramel. We will taste in this some real ripe berries tasting. We'll taste spices, and it's a very well balanced, and it's a rich bourbon. The finish, for y'all though, when I talk about finish, that's what does it taste like after I've swallowed it. It's very soft, smoothing, and pleasantly long. This is really, to me, a really good bourbon. I love this stuff. I have several more bottles. There are, in Four Roses, there are 4 different types, and then they're private select. Our fourth one, retail price about $30, Old Grandad 114. This gives us a charred oak and a black pepper spice with the sweet notes of vanilla and caramel. For a rather inexpensive $30, most of these are going to be in that range. There are some more, a little bit more, but for this is a really good bourbon for only little $30. Another bourbon in at $30, Wild Turkey 101. A lot of people think of this as a cheap bourbon, It's really has a good flavor. The taste is a hint of sweet with vanilla and caramel notes. You hear me consistently talk about vanilla and caramel notes. That's a lot of these good bourbons have that. The aroma, when I smell it, I can smell cinnamon, I can smell vanilla in it. And our finish, it's very bold. It has a little bit of spice, and you can actually taste some orange peel in it. It's a real good, inexpensive bourbon. The sixth one I have, retail on this is about $38. $17.92 small batch. Any liquor store, any grocery store will have this. And most of these are the same way. You can find it almost any time. Okay, for the $17.92, the spice in here mingles with some of that sweet caramel and that vanilla flavoring. The finish on this is really smooth and it lasts a pretty good bit. So it's a really good sipping bourbon. My number 7 is Knob Creek 9-year. This one comes in at $37. It's distilled by Jim Beam. This one pushes further and gives us a fuller flavor because it's aged 9 years. Most of the bourbons that we are talking about, and a lot of bourbons out there, are not aged nearly at 9 years. To be a bourbon, it has to be aged a minimum of 2 years, and a lot of bourbons are only aged 2 years. If it doesn't have a statement on how many years it's aged, you can assume pretty confidently that it's between 2 and 4 years. The added benefit of the longer aging, it soaks up more of the complexities from that charred oak barrel, and it gives us a lot more flavor. One nice thing about the Knob Creek 9-year is it is at 100 proof, where most of the others that we are discussing are at 90 proof. Number 8, Elijah Craig small batch. Elijah Craig is touted as the father of bourbon. He was a preacher, and he started making whiskey back then and accidentally set the inside of a barrel on fire, and it charred it, and he went ahead and used it, and that is what created the bourbon. The aroma on this is a complex notes of vanilla. You can also smell sweet fruit in it, as well as some fresh mint. The taste, it's very smooth and warm. The proof on this is 94 proof, so it's pretty good. On this particular bourbon, taste some accents of spice. We're also gonna taste some of that smoke. And most importantly, I think, is we get a little bit of nutmeg taste in it. The finish is long as sweet, and it is a little bit toasty for those of you who like a toasty bourbon. Okay, number 9, Russell's Reserve. Comes in retail about at $37. It's a very good bourbon. It again is aged 10 years, so that's really good. The aroma on here, we smell some orange peel, citrus, as well as some butterscotch. The taste, we have a rich, spicy caramel, and we also get some vanilla in there. The finish is very smooth, sweet, and you can almost taste toffee and the spice notes lingering in your mouth, as it just kind of reminds you of how really good it is. Last one on my list, number 10, the most expensive one at $48, Michter's. This is a really good bourbon. It has a rich caramel and vanilla. We can smell a lot of the fruit in it. Has a really smoky depth and oak finish in it. So it is a really good bourbon. I like this a whole lot. So again, y'all, when you're looking at what to start your bourbon collection with, start with the things that you can afford. That's my biggest tip. Start with what you can afford. Don't go buy all these at one time. You know, if I bought all these at one time, I'm talking $350, $400. Pick up a bottle, maybe 2 bottles, when you can afford it, once a month or every other week or so, every 2 weeks, whatever you can afford. taste it. The big thing about bourbons and starting a bourbon collection is it's for your enjoyment. So enjoy it. Don't go crazy. My wife tells me I'm crazy all the time. I mean, I've got a good collection. I've been collecting about a year and a half. I've got some around 60, 65 bottles. That's not a large collection. But enjoy what you can in it. Taste the different tastes. Be sure to let that flavor linger in your mouth. That's what making whiskey sipping and bourbon sipping so good. Until next time, guys, y'all enjoy.